Sarah is an executive mindset coach. She's a consultant and strategist for successful 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs who want to continue growing their businesses without losing their minds, burning out, or never seeing their family. Such an important topic right now. And generally speaking, but I feel right now with the situation we've been in, a lot of people will resonate with that. And Jaimie Sarah is going to talk about how to sell authentically. Jaimie, over to you. Virtual round of applause. Yay!
Yay! I'm so excited to be here with you all. What a crazy year, huh? What a strange, surreal, crazy year. And I firmly believe that one of the most important things, one of the most important skills to us actually making a success of this year and making a success of 2021 is being able to sell confidently as entrepreneurs. It's incredibly, incredibly important. And something that I've learned after coaching hundreds and hundreds of entrepreneurs is that there is often a kind of internal conflict that can happen, especially for very empathic and intuitive entrepreneurs. And there's a lot of very successful 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs who are amazing at what they do. And they've achieved that success because they're amazing at what they do. They actually have achieved that success in spite of having fear or anxiety or blocks around selling. So just imagine what's actually possible for those entrepreneurs who are incredible at what they do, who know what they're doing, if they don't have resistance and blocks around selling. Well, that's one of the things that I really stand for, and that's one of the things that hopefully my talk today, if you're someone who has a little bit of that going on, even if it's just the tiniest bit, hopefully by the time I'm done with this talk today, you'll feel expanded around this, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I started my business in 2016. I had been helping small and large businesses to grow their revenue and grow their retention since 2007. And I basically was living and working in New York City. I had a 6-figure job working for a company that I loved, working for Thomson Reuters legal division. I was kind of living the Sex and the City lifestyle. And I was like, this is it, this is amazing. So I'd gone from living in London, watching Sex and the City, thinking, ooh, I like the look of that, minus some of the heels. I'm not a stiletto kind of girl. To actually living it real life firsthand and just absolutely loving every moment. And then what happened is my granny really suddenly passed away. And in that moment when she passed away, I realized that even though everything looked shiny and sparkly on the outside, even though my salary was great, even though, you know, my investment funds were growing, even though I had this amazing social network, even though I was super fit and healthy and drinking all the green juice and doing the wheatgrass shots, on the inside, I actually knew that there was more available. I knew that actually I was working and operating from a place of using only a tiny segment of my gifts and a tiny segment of my expertise. I knew I was spending an awful lot of time typing, and I wanted to be spending a lot more time connecting with people and really helping people. And so I started my own business. Within the first year, I'd created 6 figures of revenue, which everyone else was like, that's amazing, well done, that's so impressive. But what a lot of them didn't realize was that I took home, for the first 2 years, I took home no personal income. I was actually living off my savings and investments. Took home absolutely no personal income. So my revenue was there. I was reinvesting everything back in the business. And what I realized midway through that second year was that if I had felt less fear and I had felt less resistance towards selling, that needn't have been the case. I could have invested as abundantly as I did in expanding myself, in marketing, in learning new skills, in outsourcing different things. I could have done that, and I could have paid myself handsomely, if only from the very beginning I hadn't had the resistance and blocks around sales that I had. So I want to share with you a few of the things that I learned during that period that then helped me get to a point where not just was my revenue good, but my personal income was also good. And these are things that I've also taught many of my clients, some of whom have brand new businesses and some of whom have well-established businesses, but they know that they can take their revenue to the next level. They know they can take their impact to the next level. And they also know that they can take their personal income to the next level, because there's nothing worse than having a business that looks shiny and sparkly and impressive on the outside, where everyone else is saying, oh, you're doing great, I'm so proud of you, and getting these badges of honor and you're getting these media features, but underneath the surface you're worrying about money because you don't have this piece nailed, because you don't feel confident around sales. To me, that is an absolute travesty, and one of the things that I stand for is helping fewer entrepreneurs to really be in that situation and to have side match, to have the inside, what's going on the inside and on the inside of the business and on the like in the accounting, actually match the appearances on the outside. So I'm going to share with you 7 key tips to help you to sell more authentically and to feel more confident around selling. So the first one is to be more you. Now, one of the fears that sometimes can come up, excuse me, my child came home from nursery 2 days ago with a cough. I think he's passed it on to me. So, oh my gosh, sorry. Okay, so the first one is to be more you. Now, sometimes what can happen is based on our experiences in life, based on what we've witnessed in terms of sales conversations that we've been on the other side of as a customer, or based on things that we've seen in the media, things that we've seen in films, things that we've seen on the TV, we can assume that to be effective at selling, we need to be something that we're not. We need to be very regimented. We need to be very, what's the word I'm looking for? We need to be very tightly laced. Is that the right word? Tightly laced? Did I just make that up? we need to be tightly laced. We need to be, you know, we need to be like this. Okay. And in truth, when somebody's looking to buy something from you, they're not looking for someone who is perfect. They're not looking for someone who is shiny and sparkly and looks and sounds very impressive, but who they don't feel connected with. They want to feel connected to you. They want to see the truth of who you are. They don't want to feel in any shape or form like you might be following a script, or you might be trying to be anyone other than who you are. This is one of the biggest things that turns people off when we have sales conversations. If they feel like we're trying to squeeze ourselves into a box in order to impress them. There's a lot in common between dating and selling. So much in common. There's so many parallels. And actually, one of the things that you can do if you really want to sell more confidently, if you're single, is to date more, to practice dating. And if you're in a relationship, practice dating the person that you're in a relationship with, because there's so many parallels. Okay, being authentically you in dating is one of the most magnetic things you can do to the right kind of people. And it also effortlessly demagnetizes, I think I just made up that word, repels, in other words, in proper English. It also effortlessly repels the wrong kind of people. which is an incredible, incredible gift, because we don't want to waste time with the wrong people, whether it's in dating, whether it's in sales. There are more than enough people out there who need your services. There are more than enough people out there who want what you have to offer. Oh, here comes the nugget. So some of you will know I had a childcare situation. Oh, hello. I had a childcare situation, so my childcare fell through, so my little nugget is here. Are you coming to show everyone your toast? Yeah, mummy's got like 7 minutes left. Can you wait for 7 minutes? Do you want to take mummy's phone? Put some Netflix on? Were the 3 devices downstairs not enough for you? The 2 iPads and the TV? No? Can you just go through there for a second?
Doing events in lockdown, haven't you? Brilliant. Absolutely love it. It's all good. Hi, Joshua.
He's got in the other room now with my iPhone. Hopefully no one will get random messages. Be like calling the bank. Hello? I'd like to transfer 50 million pounds to a bank.
I'd be surprised if he knows how to speak to the bank like that already. But you know, who knows, right? Cool. Over to you.
Where was I? Sorry, that threw me slightly.
You were on dating and then repelling. That's
yeah. So one of the really important mindsets to bring to selling is understanding that there's more than enough people out there for everyone. There's more than enough people who are going to be so hungry and so compelled to want to work with you and want to buy your services, buy your products, right? They're sitting there at home, probably most likely because we're in lockdown. They're sitting there at home thinking, I just wish I had X, right? And you have X. And they might not yet know that you exist, but they're sitting there fantasizing in the cleanest possible way. They're sitting there fantasizing about having what it is that you have to offer. And there are other people who are fantasizing about something different, and there are other people who offer those different things. So one of the most important mindsets to bring to authentic selling is understanding that there's more than enough people for everyone. And when you're being more you can magnetically attract those people who are an amazing fit for you and repel those people who are not an amazing fit. Now, another part of selling authentically is being deeply, deeply present with whoever you're with. And this is such an underrated skill. And actually, I'm incredibly grateful because one of the things I learned from my coaching training was how to be more present with people in conversations, which was one of the goals I took when I started that training, even before I decided to go into coaching full time. And so whether you're on the phone, whether you're on Facebook Messenger, being really present with whoever you're with, listening at a very, very deep level is one of the most powerful ways to sell. Often when you're listening very deeply, and people can feel energetically when you're listening very deeply, you could say 1 or 2 sentences and they're in. They're like, take my money, because they feel that you're present with them. They feel that you're listening. They feel that you understand them. And when they feel that you understand them, that level of trust is much higher. That level of faith is much higher. And you know what? People are not used to being genuinely listened to. It's actually incredibly rare. So many people are rushing around like blue-ass flies, running from one thing to the next, worrying about how many things are on their to-do list. They're not actually listening to other people. So it's an amazing way to stand out. Third thing is, don't feel like you have to sell. You're under no obligation to sell. This is especially relevant if you're a service-based business owner and what you're delivering involves some kind of time with you or time with a member of your team. Okay, so this doesn't apply to things like passive income offerings. This doesn't apply to products where someone's jumping on a landing page and buying organically. You are under no obligation to sell. If you don't feel like your services are the best fit for someone, you're under no obligation to offer them something. It's absolutely fine to say, do you know what? I hope you found this conversation valuable. Based on what you have shared with me, I think that the best fit is for you to X. Like, I think that the best fit is for you to go and hire this person, or I think the best fit is for you to go and get these services. And if you would like to talk in the future, let me know. Or, you know, you can say, I think that the best fit right now is for you to save your money. Let's say if somebody is in a habit of trying to get all of the answers outside of them and spending to try and find what's already within them, you might say, actually, I recommend that you don't look for the answers from anyone else for the next few months, that you actually look inward and you start to tune into that inner voice and listen to the guidance within and listen to your higher self. And then if you want to come back in a couple of months, let me know. Incredibly powerful, right? People are so used to being in conversations where the other person has this preconceived agenda that they must sell to you or they've failed in the conversation. Or what if that wasn't the measure of success in a conversation? What if the measure of success in a conversation was whether you showed up for that person powerfully, you were deeply present with them, and whatever decision, whatever outcome was aligned for them and for you, that was the measure of success, not whether you made a sale. When you come to selling from that place, holy moly, other people can feel it. They are even more compelled to give you their money if they're the right fit. And it's an incredible space of trust to exude and embody in a conversation that is contagious to whoever you're speaking to. Now, one of the other tips I want to share with you is really understanding that empathy, so most of the people I work with are very empathic, very intuitive. Empathy is a superpower, not a weakness. Traditional society has conditioned us to believe that being empathic is somehow a weakness, that being empathic makes us weird, or makes us less potent, or makes us kind of like at the mercy of other things. And the truth is, being empathic means you're very highly attuned, and being very highly attuned is an incredible asset, and it's an incredible asset in the sales process, because selling is fundamentally about building a relationship, about building connection, and then having a purchase, an empowered choice around making a purchase, come from that place of connection. Next one is ask amazing questions. Ask amazing questions, and don't think that those questions have to be preconceived, that those questions have to be a checklist that you've got in front of you. Sometimes that can be beneficial, especially if you're in the early days of a business. Having a checklist of questions to ask can be a great thing. Actually understanding that some of the most powerful questions will come in. Questions will come from your higher self. Those questions will come from source. And when you allow yourself to ask those questions, including if they're slightly uncomfortable, the level of authenticity in that sales conversation, the level of connection in that sales conversation is truly, truly unparalleled. And the last one is trust your intuition and trust your intuitive nudges. If you're feeling like the conversation needs to go in a certain direction, if you're feeling like you need to ask a certain question, like I said, even a question that feels a bit awkward to ask, you can even be honest. Say, you know what, I feel nervous about asking this question, but it feels like it's really going to serve you if I ask this question. Would you mind if I ask this question? You can always ask for permission. Okay, asking those questions that your intuition is asking, is telling you to ask. Sharing something that you're seeing that your intuition is telling you to share. You're an expert in your field, and you will be able to see something in someone that they could not see in a million years. So when you see that thing, whether or not they're going to buy from you, making that observation, sharing that observation is an incredible gift to leave someone with, that they will likely not forget in a long time, even if they're slightly annoyed with you at the moment, which very occasionally may happen. Thank you so much for listening.
Yay, well done, Jaimie Sarah. Amazing tips there. I'm going to remove the spotlight off you, so please don't be offended. There we go. But Jaimie, thank you so much for sharing so much wisdom, all about how we're internally conflicted as well. And actually, you know what? A lot of selling is to do with confidence. By the way, I've moved slightly because the sun is shining on me. I look very angelic, but I disappear. So if I'm slightly off your screen, you know why. And I love the comparison. Selling's like dating. Just date more if you want to sell more. I just think maybe selling, sometimes you get more of the outcome you want versus dating, but maybe that's a whole different talk, a whole different outcome. And I love the fact you talk about being present and tapping into your intuition when you're selling. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. Alfred, keep going. When your little nugget came in to bless us with his presence, and hopefully he hasn't transferred 50 million pounds, but if he has, I hope it's to my account. Because then I know nothing otherwise. If that's the case, I know nothing, right? But thank you again for sharing your time and your wisdom with everybody watching. Everybody.